You know, people even in New York, y'all got different subsects of people who would. Oh,
No,
goodness.
we listen to music. Music is music, but you know.
Yes, sir. Okay, and we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a special Sunday evening edition of Off the Record, the People's Podcast. We have a great guest with us, student first officer of Brooklyn, New York, brother Salim Muhammad. I want to extend the greetings of Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us with the People's Podcast. Alaikum salam,
Um,
Sister Miriam, and a lot of people who are watching extend the greetings to you as well, sir.
Please give my family the love and greetings. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Okay, my first question is, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I first heard the teachings in 1994, January of 1994. I was watching a documentary, That Hate Produced,
Mm.
and when I heard that message, I saw something and I heard something that I never saw or heard before. A brilliant and dynamic representation of the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad from our brother Malcolm X.
Yes,
That
sir.
was the first time I heard it.
Okay, excellent. And why did you finally accept the teachings?
When I heard that message, it was during a weekday. The next day, I went to my college and I took 4 books out in my library. One was the autobiography of Malcolm X. The other one was Malcolm X Speaks. And the other book was Roots. The fourth book, I don't recall what that book was, but I remember it was 4 books. I read those 4 books in 2 weeks. I never heard nothing like that. What I read in the autobiography was life changing, and it inspired me, it motivated me. So I became a reader. Of course, we know the Donna Goines books and all of
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
those classics. But I was just reading, and then I was immersed, and I just by me listening to Malcolm. And I found myself, I started saying, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. From that on, when I heard the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I was like, wow, this is what I was looking for. I came into the mosque in November of '94.
Yes, sir.
It was a Wednesday night. And although I had been in, prior to that, various churches and big cathedral-like churches, walking into a study group, which we had at that time in the basement of a study group, on a Wednesday night, one of the coldest winters ever. So when I walked into that basement, I felt like I was in the most holiest place that I could ever be.
Praise
and
be
that
so much.
feeling, I was like, wow, what an amazing feeling. And of course, our minister at that time was Brother Kevin, who is now Brother Hafiz Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Islam. And I had just turned 19 the day before. And Brother Hafiz said, I know this world teaches you that you're a man when you turn a certain age. He said, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that you're not a man until you accept responsibility for yourself, your community, and your people. And that just stuck with me. He took acceptance. I accepted. And then I went on a payphone. You don't know nothing about a payphone. I went on a payphone and I called my then girlfriend because she knew that I was looking for the mosque. I couldn't find the mosque. So when I called her and I told her what I had just went through, she got quiet on the phone. And I said, why are you so quiet? She said, because you accepted to become a Muslim and you didn't even talk to me about it. I said, I didn't accept to be a Muslim. She said, well, tell me what the preacher said. And when I repeated it, I said, oh, wow. So that was on a Wednesday night. By Saturday, all of the vices, most of the vices that I had, I gave up within 3-4 days. That's how powerful the word was. And then a few months later, I was a registered FOI in the Nation of Islam. All praises be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. And I thank you very much for that, Brother Salim. My sister Miriam says, thank you for this informative, powerful interview. You inspire us. And thank you, Brother Salim. And thank you all for watching the People's Podcast this Sunday afternoon. Okay, my next question for you is, what was the climate like in 1994 when you're in the mosque leading up to the Million Man March? The men. Let's start with the men's only. So the men's only has to be. You were when was the men's only?
Man, now I physically did not go to the men's only meeting. I was
Mm.
still deep in the world of ignorance, so I didn't even hear about it.
Mm.
But I'm telling you, you know, see, I don't know about everywhere else, but I'm from Brooklyn, New York,
Yes, sir.
the People's Republic of Brooklyn,
Yes, sir.
and when we at that time in the '90s, and we were a study group and we were fighting to become a mosque, we literally had to fight for Islam. And it was no easy task. You know, we had a lot of people coming against the minister, saying different things, and the opposition was thick. It's thick now.
Yes, sir.
But you even had people who were really pushing up in a very meaningful way. Yes, sir.
Could you give us an example of like the people who are pushing up? Are these people who lost pounds, other sects, or like who?
Other sects, other
Mm.
branches of Islam, some of the former followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We were coming up, we were young, you know, and when in '94 we were trying to reestablish Muhammad Mosque 7C. So
Yes,
we were
sir.
a study group. So when Brother Hafiz came to Brooklyn, and we thank Allah for his hard works, because when he came to Brooklyn, he only came to Brooklyn with 5 brothers. So Brother Hafiz and 5 other brothers really went to work to build Muhammad Mosque 7C up. So some of the opposition, when they saw brothers coming around 6, 7, 8, now we at 20, 25, some of the people did not necessarily want Islam in the way that we know Islam in the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
So some of them would physically do things, and of course we would respond in like manner. We had to defend ourselves. Some would have things to say, and just a lot of opposition. You know, the minister was up and down the East Coast, up crisscrossing the entire nation, men's only meetings in preparation for the Million Man March. So
yes, sir.
we really had to establish Islam 7 days a week, nonstop. College campuses, high schools, we were street organizations, and I mean, it was a lot in '94, and a lot of various sects, like I would say,
yes, sir.
Would form their mission to come against us. But at the end, you know, all opposition to the truth shall crush. So we think we just kept on working hard, you know,
Okay, excellent. My next question is, who was responsible for training you as far as the military?
Man, this brother who I'm thankful to Allah for him, Brother Forrest Muhammad. Brother Forrest Muhammad is his level of zeal. You have to understand, I'm 19 years old, and this man would come to my college campus just to make sure that when I would leave class, that I'm going into the field and not getting caught up with the world. He came to my house one time, and he went through my closet, and he was looking at the clothes that I had, Jabot, Polo, Guess. He was going through it, you know. And then he looked, and I had a closet full, because that's the world that I came from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he looked at. Now I know your generation, y'all, you know, but we dressed, you know what I'm saying? We dressed, you know. And so he looked, and he went into this. I only had 2 suits in there. And he said, you could tell a lot about a man's mind on how he dresses.
Yes, sir.
I said, what do you mean? He said, you have more grave clothes than you have clothes of righteousness. Man, that was impactful on me.
Yes, sir.
He saw that, man, he's waking me up 5 o'clock in the morning. He's calling me. Brother, you know, it's 5:03. You're 3 minutes up late for prayer. You know, making sure I'm at my classes, making sure I'm at my meet. In fact, when I came to the mosque, I was working as a baggage handler at JFK Airport. And I was the brothers who used to hustle for tips.
Yes,
I would hustle for tips and take you to your car, and I would get a $20 tip, $25 tip. And Brother Forrest said, brother, I think you could get a job working where I work at. And I said, where do you work at? He was working on Wall Street. I'm 19 years of age. He said, brother, there's no age minimal requirement as long as you're 18 and older. Just take the test.
Mm.
Allah's grace, he changed my way of looking at things. So I'm forever thankful to Brother Forrest. The manner in which he did strong soldiers, strong, hardcore, no nonsense, FOI. He would have a soldier in for 8, 9, 10 hours on the Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, a strong soldier. So I'm forever thankful to Brother Forrest and the leadership and the manner in which he did. But of course, we came under Captain Dennis Regime. He was the regional captain, and our student first officer in Brooklyn was Brother Robert Seven. But my line lieutenant, the brother who taught and trained me, was Brother Forrest. So
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Okay, my next question to you is, what was it like meeting the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for the first time?
Now you're getting deep. Now I see why they say you the future Arsenio Hall. Okay. I'm my first Savior's Day in Chicago. I'm sitting in the balcony, and I'm just overwhelmed because I'm in the same stadium with the minister. And that, not that I was in close proximity, but that was the first time that I wasn't looking at him on a camera. We're in the same stadium, and I felt, man, this is unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
So the very first time that I could remember, we were in Adam Clayton Powell State Office Building in Harlem, New York. And we were going underneath. We were underneath in the garage area, moving. And I heard the minister say, "Brother, what is your name?" And I said to myself, man, who's the minister talking to? Brother, what is your name? I said to myself, who? Man, we got to keep moving. This is a security detail. We can't stop.
Yes, sir.
Man, who's the minister talking to? We got to keep moving. And then I heard the minister stop. Brother, what is your name? And I said, who is And I turned around, and the minister was looking right in my face. He said, brother, what is your name? Now, this is Sunday. This is Keep It Real Sunday.
Yes, sir.
When the minister asked me my name, and I realized he was talking to me, I said to myself, what is your name? I couldn't even remember my name. Because I couldn't believe that he was talking to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I finally was able to get myself together, I told the minister my name, and we greeted each other cheek to cheek. And then I said, my name, I'm Brother Sherwood Muhammad at the time, and he said, I'm Brother Farrakhan, which was like, that blew me away. And that was the very first time where we had any interactions and physical connections of that nature. So I'm still grateful and honored,
Praise be to Allah. Okay, my next question is, the Million Man March, what was the climate like in New York, but specifically Brooklyn, the People's Republican of Brooklyn, as you say, the People's Republican of Brooklyn, and leading up, and how impactful was the Million Man March on you personally?
So, of course, your father, I don't know whose idea it was, but he was the one that said that every soldier had to sell, I think we had to sell 400 papers, dollar for dollar. And we saw so many Million Man March editions. We went to work. And that was something else. But the minister had asked of us to get on a fast. The name of the lecture was "The Wages of Sin is Death." He asked the officials to fast. He asked the believers to fast for 5 days, and asked the officials and laborers of the mosque to fast for 7 days for the success of the Million Man March. And we fasted. I fasted. The brothers fasted. And I'm telling you, the energy, because it was some people saying they were going, and then you had some people saying they were not going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I remember, and I'm 19 years old, and I remember there was a church on my block that was trying to petition the people not to go. I'm 19 years old. I'm like, I got to speak to this. I got to speak to the pastor.
Yes, sir.
No. Because I couldn't understand growing up in Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn, with all this death, that this pastor would say, you can't go to the march. So I had to speak to him. Then I remember on my college campus, I had a professor who was speaking against the Million Man March. So I had to, I saw myself as an activist. So I had to speak to him.
Yes, sir.
I remember organizing buses on my school campus with different BSOs and BSUs. But the energy, man, the energy in the city, it was something else, because up until the last hour, you heard people say, man, I'm going, I'm coming. So we ran out of buses. We didn't even have enough buses. I remember St. Paul's Church, one of the churches in Brooklyn, they had caravans going down. I mean, people was coming from all over, but a small delegation, we had got word that there was some opposition being planned to thwart things. So we went down a whole week in advance. And, our job was to make sure that nothing happened to the minister. Nothing happened that would derail the Million Man March. And so you talking about, we were staying off. I can't go into all of it, but Allah is God. and Muhammad is his messenger. And
yes, sir.
Man, it was something else. Just to sit, just to be there. I remember, one of the things that I remember was Amtrak around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I wanted to get the feel of the march. Because, you're a soldier, sometimes you just in soldier mode.
Yes, sir.
And I remember looking at a sign where Amtrak says, we want to thank the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam for bringing in 800, I think the number was 800,000 riders to Washington, D.C.
Damn.
Now, this is around 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Damn.
So I already knew we had a million right there. So, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Okay, excellent. And thank you all for watching this People's Podcast. And thank you, Brother Salim, for your great testimony and stories. My next question is, has there ever been a time in the mean streets of Brooklyn, all traveling around the world with the minister, traveling around the country with the minister, that you felt fear, maybe a death threat or something where you had to overcome fear? If so, could you please let us know?
You know Brooklyn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
And you know Brooklyn. Brooklyn, some say one of the translations for Brooklyn is the land of the warriors. When you grow up in Brooklyn, everybody got an attitude. I believe we invented mean mugging. I think it all started in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
Before you could leave your house, people talk about, you was too old to leave the stoop. Before you could leave your house, you just grow up in drama. And, growing up, I could honestly say that Allah is God, and not in a mysterious way.
Yes, sir.
Because, we're a very peaceful people, and we go about spreading peace. And when our peace is broken, and you have to rally and call on Allah, Allah removes fear.
Allah,
and we've been in a lot of situations, and we're thankful to Allah. But I could honestly say I don't recall ever being fearful. And I'm not saying this trying to sound like a gangster or something just that. But whenever we have a situation, we're defending the cause of truth.
Yes, sir.
And so when you look back, you're like, man, did that really happen? But while you're in the midst of it, fear is not an emotion that I feel. What I usually feel is love, a deep sense of love. Like, how dare someone physically want to harm one of our brothers? For what? For spreading the truth? Like, how is that? You want to physically put your hands on somebody because he's trying to stop gang violence or stop drugs or the epidemic of drugs, or we trying to clean up the community and you want to physically harm one of our brothers?
Yes,
it's
sir.
always out of love. So that's what I usually feel. Is love. Love and duty, honor, commitment, sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
I can't. Yeah, that's really what it is, And we thank Allah. Like, we've always been victorious, and it's not because of our numbers. It's not because of our proficiency of VSK or no. It's because of Allah, the true and living God.
Praise be to Allah.
Give you the strength and energy when you think you can't go on.
Allah,
because I'm telling you, there's been times we've been outnumbered, we've been outmaneuvered, in the wrong locale, going against projects. Like, oh, wait, no, we don't. But that's a lot. So we thank Allah much for His mercy and His grace and His patience with us, a suffering and ignorant people, that He will still allow us to receive His love. Man, we're thankful. All praise to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, excellent. Sister Khadija Davis Muhammad says the agents were heavy, referring to your college experience. They were recruiting college students to cause mischief in the mosque. And thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. My sister Miriam says all praises to Allah.
Is that my sister Khadija from Newark, New Jersey?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is her. My next question for you, sir, is when did you go from seeing the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a speaker, a Black leader and an activist, to in the divine light that you see him now?
I don't recall a time. I'm again, keep it real Sunday.
Yes, sir.
It's like I saw Malcolm X, and then I remember being in that mode, then looking at different other communities and trying to figure out what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, and that was only a journey of about 6 or 7, maybe 8 months. But from the time I discovered the Honorable Minister Louis, from the time I heard his voice, I was like, no, it's something different here. I never really saw the minister as a speaker, although he speaks well.
Yes,
and another thing that we don't give the minister enough, we don't talk about enough, is how intelligent the minister is.
Yes, sir.
The minister is one of the most intelligent human beings I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Because it really doesn't matter what the subject matter is. The minister is usually more proficient than those who are professionals in that particular subject matter.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Very intelligent. He's very articulate. Well spoken.
Yes,
but
sir.
I always saw him more than that. I always I don't know. His voice, hearken to the voice of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
God. But it's something like I like to say the truth note. It just resonated and that's why we always say that we think we accepted Islam, but Allah chose us.
Allahu Akbar.
Every last one of us
yes,
who
sir.
believe in the manner in which we believe, Allah already chose us. So it's about time sequence, a time bomb, the right time.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, it's like the universe is aligned, but Allah already chose us.
Praise be to Allah.
He said He would choose us from the wombs of our parents. That means
yes,
He already
sir.
chose us.
Yes, sir.
And all we're doing is we just following a script. And He navigates our life, putting us in the right place at the right time. So when you hear it, that's why when I could be in a community room, I could feel like I'm in a holy place. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Okay, excellent. And thank you all for watching the People's Podcast. Brother Sherwin, I have a quick sponsor, 60-second sponsor announcement. Supreme Men's Clothing, 1035 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. Supreme Men Clothing. Go there to get fresh. Phone number is 314-528-5555. Thank you, sir, for your continued sponsorship. If you all in St. Louis, you want to get fresh, go to the website, support this brother, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, my father's Supreme Spring Water. Make sure you all get this. If you are drinking water, we should be healthy, all of that good stuff. My brother, Rashad, and his business partner, Jamal, have a video production company called Street Premiere, and they're always the first people to sponsor the program. They're working on some big things. They do editing. If you need some editing, reach out to them on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. My sister, Miriam, has a children's book, 2 children's books. One is a coloring book. The other one is about ABC, about saying your alphabet. Beautiful, love yourself. ABC, I love me. Make sure you all support it. It's on Amazon. My second book is Cleopatra. It's a children's book. It is on Amazon. My first book is No Father, No Excuse. And my last but not least, my father's new book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, Abdul Sharif Muhammad, part 1 in the beginning, sold out very quickly at Savior's Day. Thank you. All right. If you all want me to, if you all want to have a business that you want me to sponsor, let me know. J Imagination and Cash App. I will promote it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe and share. Boom. Okay. Brothers, Salim, my next question is, how did you receive your name, the holy name of Brother Salim?
Can I say something about your father before I answer the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Your father when we talk about impact.
Yes, sir.
I remember your father came to New York one time. We were lieutenants, and we picked him up at the airport. And I watched your father move. You talking about atmosphere?
Yes, sir.
He would walk with an atmosphere, but your father was so powerful, and so he didn't say one word the whole time he was here, but you felt what he was saying without words. We would be in the car, he would be, and I would be like, what's going on? And I'm like, what's going on? But that's the power of your father. So we thank Allah for his work. Allah wastes not the work of no worker. And your father was a great, 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 great worker. Because I know how he used to move us. And sometimes just through a conference call and just through a phone call and I'm going to send this down. And he would move the whole nation like that. So we thank Allah for your father and his great work that he did as a Supreme Captain and the great work that he's doing as a minister in the southern region in Atlanta, Georgia.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, speaking of these conference calls and paper nights and all this kind of thing, how can we, is there a way to recapture that spirit for the next generation to have the same zeal, or is that something that is like just a time thing?
No, that's I always like to equate it to music.
Yes, sir.
When we came in the 90s, there were brothers there before us who laid the foundation. So we walk in all the work that they did.
Yes, sir.
And those brothers came, I like to call them the public enemy generation.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The public enemy generation did a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work. And they passed the baton to Biggie and Nas generation. and we renewed our history because Islam renews her history every 25,000 years.
Yes, sir.
So Allah is fresh and new in every generation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now we coming with the Biggie, Jay-Z generation, the Nas generation, and we passing it off. Now you can say, well, who is it? The Nori generation? Is it who's the next generation? Is it the Soldier Boy generation? Who's next? You know what I'm saying? What's the next generation? So y'all have to take it and make it fresh in your generation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When we were going around in the early 90s, man, we used to just go, man, somebody got an album release party, we would just go. Suit, bow tie, top hat. And we go in the VIP room drinking cranberry juice. But we was making our presence felt. Or there's a new move. Oh, we going A-class. We're jumping out of cars. A-class. We going. We were impacting that generation. So this generation got to do the same thing. We were filled with the work. Man, we would go and sell our papers in Times Square. 1 o'clock in the morning. We right there. So we don't want to get to like, I remember when we were younger, oh man, we don't want to hear nothing about Dr. J. Oh, don't tell us about, no. We don't want to get where we set tripping ageism. This generation was the best. No, every generation is great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Every generation is great. Every generation is great. Y'all have to take it up to another level.
Yes, sir. Man,
where y'all works, man, the Joshua generation, man, yes, sir. It got to be more than just, because y'all got the teachers stone cold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look what you're doing. Brother said, Brian Gumbo, Arsenio Hall. Look what you're doing. We wasn't thinking on that level.
Yes, sir.
So y'all smarter than us, but y'all don't work as hard. Y'all got to work harder than us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fresh legs. Y'all got that energy, that spirit. Y'all got to go out there and be like, no, we're going to show you Islam in this generation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's the difference. Man, when them brothers is the public enemy generation, black shoes, white tube socks, who's yes, like white tube socks? But we thank Allah for them.
Yes, sir.
Because those brothers physically fought hard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those brothers, man, they fought physically hard to help the minister in the reestablishment. So we thank that public enemy, the temptation, Teddy Penny generation. y'all gotta do it up, man, in your generation, man.
Yes, sir. Okay, my next question, Brother Salim.
Little Uzi, the Feature Arms. Come on, man. The Migos.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Could it be more like Kendrick Lamar, Future? You had to go straight to Soulja Boy. You went straight to Soulja Boy.
Okay. J. Cole, no problem.
J. Cole, you went straight to Soulja Boy. I'm like, all right.
I went straight to Soulja Boy. Okay, my bad. Please forgive me.
Excellent. Thank you all for watching. Brother King Simon said he was there in the early 90s.
Brother King Simon.
With Dr. Colin
original.
And Captain Dennis. Brother Janelle
Muhammad says good King
teaching.
Simon.
And Sister Miriam says she loves a music analogy. My next question is to you, sir.
Let me tell you about King Simon.
Please.
This is one of our brothers, man. Hardcore brothers, man. Help with the Million Man March. He's still on the front line, always helping. He has this mass media. He's everywhere.
Yes,
so
sir.
we thank the nationalist community, the community, the underground railroad, all of that, man. We thank our brother King Simon, the King Simon Productions. You know, King Simon goes back to Biltmore Ballroom and Elite Arc. He knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so we thank him for all his hard work. Keep on doing what you're doing, brother Simon. Keep on doing it.
Excellent. My next question for you, sir, is in your tenure of the nation, since you were 19 years old, what has been your greatest trial and how did you overcome that?
Oh, my greatest trial. Man, that's a deep one right there.
Okay, yes, sir.
I got it. Man, I know what's the greatest trial. I don't know if I just want to talk about it on the air, but
yes, sir.
I know what the greatest trial was. But we think a lot. You know, the Holy Quran says all of us will be faced with trials. You know, that's how Allah knows the truthful one from the liars. So from the liars. So we think a lot. Trials are necessary.
Yes, sir.
Hard trials are necessary for the establishment of truth.
Yes, sir.
So we think a lot. Trials purify.
Yes, sir.
And so, but we move forward. So, you know, I know what it is, but it's so dark. It's something that happened. So we just keep moving and we think a lot.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, what has been your greatest joy in your tenure in the nation?
I think when we at a certain point, I don't know too many areas, right?
Yes, sir.
So I came in the 90s, we was establishing a mosque, Brother Hafiz, and at a certain point we all went uptown to Harlem Muhammad Mosque, the historic mosque on West 127th Street.
Yes, sir.
But the brother who was Brother Hafiz's assistant, Brother Henry Muhammad, at a certain point we went back into Brooklyn. And we had to reestablish a mosque again. And we were blessed to reestablish ourselves. And I don't know too many areas that you know, that's been able to open a mosque twice. We did it twice, back to back. So that was the greatest accomplishment that I can think of, just the fact that we were able to open up a mosque again. And it wasn't easy. It's hard work. Whenever you're trying to teach Black people, it's hard.
Yes, sir.
No, we are the greatest people on the planet Earth. Ain't nobody greater.
Yes,
what
sir.
we have gone through literally broke us as a people.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes, man, when you have to go to broken people and got to keep coming to us and we got to keep working with one another, it's difficult. But
yes,
by
sir.
Allah's grace and mercy and hard work, no mystery, God, hard work, we were able to reestablish a mosque again in East New York. And so when I look around and I see brothers who's talking about they got their ex in 2018 or 2009, and I'm like, man, we built a whole new mosque of brothers right here in East New York, brothers and sisters right here in East New York. That's a tremendous blessing, and I would say that's the greatest
joy. Okay, excellent. What advice would you give to future fathers?
Oh man, children are different. Take time to learn your children. How does this child spell love? T-I-M-E. That's how a child spells love. T-I-M-E.
Yes, sir.
So you can't, don't leave it all up to the mother. No, it's important for the mother to do her part for girls and boys, and it's as important for the father to do his part for boys and girls. So, man, you know, make sure we have a very nurturing environment that's free of toxic, environment that's learning, where you're teaching them about God and prayer. But don't forget, children learn through sport and play.
Yes, sir.
They learn through competition.
Yes, sir.
You can't just be in your house all day, left face, right face. No, you gotta take the time to man, take your child to the game and
Yes, sir.
go, in the park and spend time with your children. Tell your child you love them. It's important.
Yes, sir.
Boys and girls.
Yes, sir.
You don't want your daughter looking for love, like looking for a man to tell her, oh, I've been looking for love all my life. No, you make sure that you shower her and him with love.
Yes, sir.
Don't
yes, sir.
Oh, he's hardcore. He knows I love him. No, tell him you love him.
Yes, sir.
When I came into the mosque, one of the hardest things for me to do is when the brothers would say, I love you. I would say, Allah loves you too. I would say, love Allah and his messenger. And then a brother said to me, brother, you seem to have a hard time telling another black man you love him.
Mm.
And I said, wow. Because I grew up my father never told me he loved me.
Mm.
He never told me he loved me.
Mm.
So it was hard for me to break that chain of saying I love you to another black man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But in the Nation of Islam is about reconstructing black people that's broken. So, man, now I don't got no problem telling a black man I love him.
Praise be to Allah.
That's so yeah. That's what
okay. Beautiful. And thank you for your transparency, Brother Salim. And thank you all for your watching and your comments. Thank you, Brother Andre, Brother King Simon. Thank you, Sister Miriam, for your comments as well. My next question is, what advice would you give to future husbands?
Man, now you're talking. See, here's the thing. As a husband in the Nation of Islam, you talking about Nation of Islam, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Don't think just because she believes like you believe, that's enough.
Mm.
The fact that she believes and you believe is a start, but that's not enough. Never stop dating your wife. Don't forget that's your wife. That's not your sister. Spend time with your wife. Quality time. Not you upstairs, she's downstairs. No, spend time. Going to the movies, that don't count. That don't count. Because you in the movies, you watching something for 2 hours. No, you're not even talking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of the things that I admire about President Obama and our former First Lady, Michelle Obama,
yes, sir.
She said as much as he was busy, they still found time once a week to go out on date night. Keep the sparks going. Don't let the pilot light go out.
Yes, sir.
And tell your wife you love her. Don't never take her for granted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You coming home, you didn't even shower. No, take a shower, man. That's your wife.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the sister got to make sure she got everything looking right. Everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like to say some nights I say to my wife, tonight is Teddy Pendergrass night. That's the only thing going on tonight. No. Man, you gotta get. I gotta certain candles and get some massage oil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh man, that's your wife.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It says do not rub, feel, or pat sisters or watch their movies. That's not talking about your wife. So,
yes, sir.
Go. You got to make sure you're compatible. Don't lie when you're in the courtship process. Don't lie. Don't give a version of yourself. Don't. No. Be honest. Don't talk about I like going for long walks and you don't like walking. Don't do it. Be honest so you can be compatible with the one that you're going to spend the rest of your life. I watch some brothers, they don't even want to go home. They don't want to go. Some say, I don't want to go. That's man, come on. Brother Nori said the most important decision a black man could make is who he marries.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on, man. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, sir.
Man, look good together. Brother said, man, I don't know what to talk about. What do you mean you don't know what to talk about? Ask her about her prom. Ask her about when she was 8 years old. Ask her when she was 12. Ask her which the barge that you think was cute. That's so much to talk about. Was it Ronnie? Was it Bobby? Was it Ricky?
Ricky or Mike? Yes. Okay, excellent teacher, Brother Salim. I want to read to you the comments. Brother Janelle Muhammad says, major key. Next, never stop dating your wife. Do all the things that got her. Brother Arvin says, Allahu Akbar. Great marriage advice that I need to hear as I desire to be a future husband. Brother Janelle said, throw some wood on that fire. Teach good teachings. Thank you, sir. Okay.
All of that.
My next question is: you are a successful businessman, sir.
Let me ask you this question: What kind of music does this generation listen to? Y'all listen to Chris
Brown? Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Summer Walker. Yeah, I mean, we got like don't downplay Rihanna. Like we got some good ones. Don't we ain't got no Teddy P there. I mean, we got you know what I'm saying. We got some singers.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying, just because we don't got Teddy Pendergrass, don't mean we got Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? We got John Legend. John Legend. You know what I'm saying? He make it sing.
John Legend. Hey, that's right. John Legend. That's right.
All right. My next question is: you're a successful businessman. How did you grow your business into where you have it today?
Never accepting. I would always change the goal. I would always change the goal. So I remember one of my early goals was, man, if I could just make $32,000 a year, if I could have enough employees and create enough business where I could make $32,000. When I got to about 29, I said, oh, if I could just make $45,000. When I got close to $45,000, man, if I could just make $50,000. It's always about changing the goal. Oh, yes, man, if I could get I'm an executive assistant. Oh, if I could just open up an office that's 2,000 square feet. Never settling. Just constantly, when you get close, just change the goal. Change the goal. So expansion, knowing the difference between hustling and being a businessman is two different things.
Yes, sir.
So knowing the difference, knowing, just little things like that, paying attention to detail. A brother said, man, I pay attention to every dollar. I think it was Nori saying that he paid attention to every dollar. And another businessman said, no, you need to pay attention to every penny, not every dollar. So these are the things that you have to do. Pay attention. Jay-Z said he have a lawyer for his lawyer. That's real. Yes, sir. You have a lawyer for your lawyer for your lawyer. Yes, so sir. These are the little tools, man. And by Allah's grace, we've been blessed to just keep on working. It's not easy, and nothing of anything in life is happens without adversity factor attached to it. So,
okay, I have just 3 more questions for you, Brother Salim. My next question is, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun?
Yes, sir.
I enjoy traveling. I enjoy traveling. And the believers. Sometimes I'm in my bed and I just wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, just bust out laughing. The staff here in Brooklyn with me, the lieutenant staff, are some of the most hilarious. I think Muslims are comedians by nature because of the nature, seriousness of what we do.
Yes, sir.
I think we're just funny by nature, but my lieutenant staff, that I'm thankful for their hard work and their efforts and the energy that they put in. Boy, I got some of them. They're comedians, and so yes, I'm literally at night. I'm laughing. Our regional captain, this is gonna blow your mind. Regional captain Majid Muhammad.
Yes,
he's one of the funniest. I'm telling you, this man is hilarious. You wouldn't believe it.
I wouldn't. I never expected that.
You would never expect it. But this man, one time he called me 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Yes, sir, brother captain." I said, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, I was sleeping, sir. He said, "You're damn right you're sleeping. Black people dying in the streets. Man, that cracked me up. So for fun, the believers is fun. The work is fun. Savior's Day is fun.
Yes, sir.
But I really, on top of all of that, going away out the country a week, 2 weeks where I disconnect, that's what I really enjoy.
Okay, wonderful. Just 2 more questions, sir. Thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. My next question is, what advice would you give to young people about sustaining faith? You have been active, you said, since 1994. What advice would you give to us to keep us, just to every generation that keeps coming after, to just have faith?
A lot of the younger brothers, and it's all throughout in the nation and even in other faith traditions. What happens is you all come out to the mosque and you learn the culture of the mosque. You learn, the sayings. You learn the foods we eat, the foods we don't, and how to give cheek to cheek and all of that.
Yes,
right?
sir.
How to dress. So you learn the culture. But many of the youth don't go into the teachings itself. Many of the youth are not going into the word and breaking down the Holy Quran and Bible, going into the lessons. And see, knowledge at first is what's going to sustain your faith.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things yet unseen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You gotta be reading. You gotta be listening to the minister.
Yes, sir.
It's great that we standing on post and giving our lives. That's good. But are you connected to what he's connected to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is again one of the greatest students, if not the greatest students. I'm talking about because the minister's constantly studying. He's an observationalist. Like if you're around the minister, he's always observing.
Yes, sir.
But the minister's in a book.
Yes, sir.
You see him reading. I one time was at the airport, watched the minister read the final call from cover to cover. That blew my mind. I said, oh my God. I just see, I'm like, what? In one sitting? So one of the things that the youth would have to do is, man, what will build your faith is actually studying the faith. Learning about the faith that you profess, that you believe in.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Yes,
just
sir.
say you're a Muslim in words, be a Muslim in deed and in action. And then the more you start doing, it's like the Holy Quran says, Allah will take one step towards Allah, he'll take 2 steps towards you.
Yes, sir.
That increases your faith.
Yes, sir.
It increases your faith. I remember watching Larry Bird. They said, man, Larry Bird, that's one of the greatest shots in history. He said, what shot was that? They said the shot when you was falling out of bounds and you threw it from the backboard with one leg up. He said, oh, that shot, I've done it 100 times. See, the reason he had the faith to take that shot in a game is because he had already practiced it.
Yes, sir.
100 times.
Yes, sir.
That's
yes,
why
sir.
he had the faith to do it. See, we gotta get involved in the work.
Yes, sir.
When you go out there and you talk to a man who's deaf, dumb, and blind, you talk to a gangbanger who you know is about to take off some heads, and you're able to convince them to put the gun down. Man, that builds your faith.
Allahu Akbar.
It builds your faith.
Yes, sir.
But the minister was coming to, I'm telling you, the minister was traveling, and one of the brothers called me and said, brother, I want you to, I'm like 20 years old now. I want you to go down to the UN, ask to speak to this ambassador, and tell the ambassador we need A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And if he says no, you ask to speak to someone else and tell them you need A, B, and you want this done immediately. But the brother said it so cavalier. Now, I'm in New York. I've never been to the United Nations. What business do I have going to the United Nations? But the brother said it so, like, matter-of-factly that I said, okay, yeah. And here I am walking in the UN.
Yes, sir.
The United, I only seen that on Channel 5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I had so much faith.
Allahu Akbar.
That I came back, accomplished, done. Praise be to Allah. And that's what we got to do. We got to get involved in the work, involved in the mission. Pick up the flag of Islam, and then watch how your faith will increase. You're the future generations, man.
Yes, sir.
You're the future. You're full of the spirit, full of the energy. You got it. You got. But there's a saying that age is wasted on the young. Man, we got to beat that prophecy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
Y'all got it.
Okay, excellent. And thank you.
Podcast, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, my last question to you, Brother Salim, is what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, my legacy. I don't have no brother. Come on, man. Stop with these big words, legacy. Man, listen, we're working on the behest and the behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. What do I want? His legacy. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his legacy. No, man, brother, we came into something that's bigger and greater than us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The great God, Master Fard Muhammad, said that the Nation of Islam was never chosen to be a mass movement. All of us that are members of the Nation of Islam, we are the ones that's gonna electrify the whole world. We're gonna influence the world. We're gonna affect the world.
Yes, sir.
But we're the vanguard, not just the sisters. No, the brothers. We're in the vanguard position.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to inspire and educate the world.
Yes, sir.
But the legacy of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan, those are the legacies that we work for.
Praise be to Allah.
No, man, we work with God's man.
Yes, sir.
It's one thing, hold on. Wait. It's one thing to be divinely inspired. And that's great. That's great. That I got a dream, Nat Turner. You thank you. That's one thing. Thank you. Because look what Nat Turner did with a dream, with a vision. So that's something else to be divinely inspired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's
yes, sir.
something to be divinely motivated.
Yes,
but
sir.
it's entirely something different to be divine. And when you look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you're looking at divinity.
Yes, sir.
Man, so we don't know what the fulfiller looks like. But when you look at the minister, you're looking at the fulfiller.
Allahu Akbar.
You're looking at the one who's here at the end of times.
Yes,
the
sir.
fulfiller.
Yes, sir.
The one that we've been reading about, talking about, praying about, hoping about, bowing about, kneeling about.
Yes,
We're
sir.
looking at him.
Yes, sir.
And so we are his disciples. And we all fit some of the personality types of the disciples. Some of us are doubting Thomases.
Yes, sir.
Some of us are Peter. Some of us are Joseph. Some of us are Judas. You know what I'm saying? Well, so in this hour, we can't be weak and we can't be hypocritical.
Allahu Akbar.
We got to be firm-rooted. We have to be able to stand and stand. So that's where we at. That's where we were at that time.
Praise be to Allah. I want to thank you all for watching this People's Podcast. I want to say to you again, Brother Salim, on behalf of my parents, my siblings, my whole entire family, we thank you for your sacrifice, the sacrifice of your wife and children, for we know that you can't do this hard work without having them being there to support you. And we love you, Brother Salim, now that you are able to say that you know that you love that you love us. And man, I'm glad that you on our side, Brother Salim. I'm glad we are on the same team.
I'm glad we all on the same team.
Praise be to Allah.
That's how victory is promised. Allah already told us we're gonna win.
Yes, sir.
That's the beauty of the whole. See, the Bible gives us a bird's eye view, but we didn't get it right. So we couldn't read it. We couldn't really interpret it properly.
Yes,
so the
sir.
Holy Quran already say it clear. Okay, you didn't get it. Okay, let me tell you. You will win. But you're going to be evil spoken of, but you will win. There's going to be some casualties of war, but you will win.
Allahu Akbar.
Someone's going to make excuses. They're going to say their family. They're going to say their property, but you will win. The victory is already promised.
Allahu Akbar.
So we thank Allah that we're on the winning side. We just got to be steadfast. Allah knew that brothers like you and I would come, stiff-necked, hard-hearted, and rebellious. So he came with an ayat. It didn't say, do you understand? They said, no. Forget about it. Just hear and obey.
Yes, sir.
That's because why? Some of us think we're the best knower. Allah
Yes,
said,
sir.
no. I, Allah, am the best knower. He got all of that covered for all of our personality types. Just falling in ranks, those ranging in ranks. See,
Yes,
he
sir.
got it all for all of us. It's all there.
Yes, sir.
So let's just keep moving, soldier.
I
want to
man.
thank you for giving us the opportunity to share your airwaves. I want to remind you, I know the South got it now, but let's not forget, Big Daddy Kane, Biggie, and Jay-Z
Yes, sir.
are all from Brooklyn, New York.
New York.
To
Yes, sir. I appreciate the Brooklyn love of hip hop. But like you said, the South has now, we have the longest running reign of rap music history, sir.
Well, remember this, and you're absolutely right. I just want to remind you this: you could have 20 watches.
Yes, sir.
And a man could only have 2, but if the 2 are Rolexes, he got to So Big Daddy Kane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Jay-Z. Let's not forget that.
Thank you. Absolutely.
May Allah bless you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for all
sir.
your work and your sacrifices.
Thank you, and thank you for watching. And man, you did a great job. You've known me my entire life. I've grown up admiring you, but this is the first time I've ever heard you speak, and I learned so much about you through my podcast. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. May Allah bless you. Keep
Yes,
up the God work.
yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.